The Super Soldier physique is the epitome of aesthetics and excellence. I built this physique from a gelatinous, weak, flabby type of body. And I could barely bench press the actual bar without any weight. Now I can bench press 2 plates on any day for 8 reps and up, any day. But why am I talking about strength in a video about an aesthetic body? It's because aesthetics plus strength, aesthetics plus performance is the new meta. So I'm going to share with you all of my secrets to get this physique at 18 years old without using any stupid steroids or any things like that. But I will tell you my specific advantages, my secret advantages that everybody else gatekeeps who has an aesthetic and strong physique. Because no man should be weak. And no man should grow old without seeing the absolute beauty and strength of which his body is capable of. Thousands of guys spend hours in the gym and they train hard, but they still look like shit. They don't look like an aesthetic Greek god statue. They still look pretty shit. They have weird proportions and they blame their genetics. And the problem is it's not their genetics. I mean, sure, we can think about our genetics to an extent, but what we can't control, let's not even try to control it because we can't control it. So instead, let's focus on the things we can control because truthfully, genetics only influence as much as your muscle building or kind of your proportions like your frame. The issue is if you blame your genetics for not having the right workout routine that is designed so that you train the aesthetic muscle groups, but then also so that you have your diet and overall lifestyle optimized so that your androgen receptors, and we'll get more into this, are optimized so that you can actually build muscle faster and get the aesthetic V-taper. You always hear of this like holy grail V-taper. Oh, if I had a V-taper, if my body was shaped kind of like the male hourglass equivalent of women, if my body was shaped like a V, then I would get the girls. Now, a lot of guys build this, but they're pretty mediocre V-tapers. They don't actually have like a big upper body with like big ass biceps, a big ass chest that can freaking bench 315. They get stuck in this trap where they're like, oh my god, I can't build my chest. Oh, what's happening? Or they're just stuck because maybe my traps aren't growing or my shoulders are stuck and they just spam lateral raises. And the thing is that they're missing the crucial aspects that actually cause their muscle growth to actually occur. So I want to just quickly tell you what makes up the V-taper. What are the aesthetic muscle groups? The aesthetic muscles are neck, chest, shoulders, and then biceps. And the reason why biceps is there is because, like, you might think, oh, V-taper, why are the biceps there? Well, it's because most people who don't really know much about exercise, when they see a physique, they look at your biceps first. They don't look at your triceps first, even though triceps can look kind of cool to the male gaze. Most girls, they don't really know much about the actual physique, so they look at your biceps first. And that's basically what we want to also focus on. So we have those aesthetic muscle groups: neck, chest, shoulders, and biceps. Now, what you'll notice with your chest and your shoulders, they have what are called androgen receptors. Now, your entire body, all of your cells have androgen receptors, but the highest concentration of these acceptors of testosterone, these androgen receptors, are in your chest, traps, and shoulders, which are responsible for that masculine look, that kind of V-taper look, the thing that makes your upper body pop like an actual man. So we need to have healthy androgen receptors, and we need to actually have higher levels of testosterone to actually bind to the androgen receptors so that we build muscle faster. And we need to train the aesthetic muscle groups, and so that not only if we're doing a bunch of lateral raises, we actually see the muscle growing and we get a more like cupped, I think it's called, shoulder. We need to train in the way that makes sure that we train the aesthetic muscle groups. We need to increase our testosterone and have healthy androgen receptors in order for us to actually be able to get the aesthetic physique like the statues. So now you understand. Most people are like, okay, well, I'll just train in the gym and I'll do good. But the thing is like, they don't understand the aesthetic muscle groups. And even if they do understand the aesthetic muscle groups, then they are stuck because maybe they might even have healthy levels of testosterone. Sure, whatever. Normal levels of testosterone are actually like lower than they used to be like 50 years ago, but that's besides the point. They might have actual shit androgen receptor accepting testosterone ability. They might have good testosterone levels, but actually not be able to accept the testosterone levels that they have. And so they are stuck here. And we really don't want to do this. And so I'm going to tell you how to implement all all of this information so that you can actually get the aesthetic physique, the actual optimized physique, and also get to that 315 bench press while staying aesthetic, just like I have. Now, I had a little bit more body fat percentage because I was really bulking over there, but ultimately I can still bench 315, and I'm a lot more cut now, and I'm still cutting, and I'm still having my strength. So first of all, there's the neck. Now, not everybody trains neck, but the thing is, personally, I realized that if you increase your testosterone, you don't actually need to train neck as much. And if you do other things like martial arts, like I do Muay Thai, there's a lot of clinching where they basically grab your arm and you're trying, or not your arm, your upper body, and you're trying to stay upright, and your neck kind of gets worked out also. And so there's also different things you can do on your floor, like if you're laying down and then you're pushing, there's also the neck workouts. If you grab a towel and you wrap it around your head and you kind of like pull, there's those kinds of workouts. Now personally, I don't really do those. I tried those for a little bit, and I get say like week or two, and maybe I got some gains, I don't really know. Personally, I just stuck to increasing my testosterone. I'll give you a bunch of tips. I also have a full guide on optimizing your testosterone on here, and also you can check the link in the description to book a call with me. Maybe in the future I'll have it, so I've set up my community to have a free community, and you can join that and you can optimize your testosterone like that. Just check the links in the description below and you'll be all set up for that. Now, for your neck, martial arts will help a bunch, but then also most guys, when you think about their chest, they have like a chest that sags. They do a bunch of workouts, but they don't actually prioritize the right components of their chest. Now, your chest actually has 3 parts to it. What we want to focus on is the upper chest. Now, the upper chest is the thing that will square out our upper body and give us a better physique. A lot of guys have an underdeveloped actual upper chest because they don't actually work on it, and they don't get the actual cup, and they look like they have like kind of like almost breasts that sag, and they just don't look as aesthetic. Now, for some people, the upper chest might be a little bit harder to actually get bigger, but the thing is, if you optimize your androgen receptors, then you'll be able to actually grow that part of your chest, and you will be good just as much as your shoulders. Now, most guys can actually benefit from getting their upper chest higher through incline barbell, except without bending their back, because if you bend your back enough, then it basically just becomes a flat bench press, and so you only work out this part. So when you're doing incline barbell, don't bend your back. Do you understand this? If you're going back and you're bending your back, you're doing the same thing as a bench press, and so you want to keep your back kind of flat. Minimal arch if you need to. Because of your shoulders, you're feeling too much shoulder activation. Now, I also recommend incline dumbbell, because incline dumbbell will just make your overall strength always better. Now, some people, when they get higher weight, like around like 90 to 100 pounds, like myself, they find that it's kind of harder to like pull it up. But basically, you just kick your knees, like you put the weight on your knees for the dumbbells, you kick your knees, and then you just have it ready, and you just go like that. Again, we want to just focus that we're making sure we're feeling it here and not over here on our bottom, because it's the upper chest that we're trying to target. And so then I want to also focus on the shoulders. The shoulders are the things that actually really give you that V-taper look, and so they are the most important, really, if you think about the actual V-taper aesthetic. If we talk about the shoulders, a lot of people do overhead press, and that's pretty good for like strength and like overall like mass, because it's like a compound movement, so that's pretty good. But the thing is, shoulders will also do really good if you do isolatory movements. Now, if we talk about the lateral raises, just like basically set it to around penis height, and then just like raise from the lateral raises over here, and that will work for you. And then there's also front delt, which is usually overdeveloped in a lot of guys, and it's also hit by bench press. But if you want to train your front delt, I don't train my front delt, and I got a pretty good cap because I do a lot of bench press, but a lot of guys can just do these raises, or just more of the dumbbell press, overhead press. So other thing is that a lot of guys, and this is really important, so I don't want you to like skip this part, because so many guys have underdeveloped rear delts over here at the very back. And the problem is, like, I'll show you what that looks like in my physique with like a picture. The problem is that their shoulder kind of looks like it's always inwards, and so they always look like they have bad posture. Now, the issue with this is that people don't really know how to train rear delts effectively. Basically, a lot of guys do face pulls, and they might help with that. Personally, I never liked that. I never actually felt so much stimulus from that. And then when I actually tried to do like reverse pec deck on the machine, I would go like this, and then I wouldn't really feel that much stimulus. And in fact, my traps were getting activated, my back was getting activated, so I didn't know what was wrong. But then I learned these tips that I'm going to tell you that are going to make your rear delts freaking explode and give you that capped shoulder so that you look like freaking 3D. Okay, so here's what it is. Go on the reverse pec deck machine, the same place you do chest flies, but just set it over here so you can grab it. When you grab it, make sure it's actually lower weight than you're usually used to. And you're thinking, what the heck, lower weight? What the heck? But like I can do way more. Do a bit lower weight. Lean forwards with your neck like this. Go like this, hold it for a second, and right now I'm already feeling my rear delts. It's so good. The thing is, if you do lower weight, your traps don't get activated. If you do higher weight, then your traps get activated and less of your rear delt gets activated. So, set up the machine, lean forwards with your neck. That helps you hit your rear delts more. Maybe hold the first rep, and then after you feel that connection, you can go a little bit faster. That is how you get really amazing rear delts. And I'm telling you, if you just do that, you will get great rear delts, such as myself. And you won't be like the guys who've been training for like 10 years and they have like a rear delt like freaking this big and they look like they're always leaning forward. So don't let that happen to you. I'm really making sure, like I really have like studied all of these things. I want to make sure that you actually get the progress and see the thousands of hours of progress in the gym, because it is so shit to not see any of the progress and to actually look at your body in the mirror and think, I look like shit. It's way better when you can freaking look in the mirror and you're like, and your freaking family members are like, oh, narcissist. No, because you guys didn't see all of the freaking pain, all of the prayers that I actually prayed to God, and all of the answered prayers that He has given me. Because you can do this. You can actually get the physique, and it's not about being a narcissist. It's not about being arrogant. It's about being actually damn confident in your skin and actually getting the actual respect from other people. Do you understand this? It's not about the actual narcissism. It's about, okay, I have an awesome physique. Hell yeah, I actually am feel confident in the body that God has given me. And so that is very special, and I want that for you. So next thing is the biceps. We know that the biceps are incredibly aesthetic, and I last time I checked, I had like 17.25 inch biceps. I'm 18 years old. A lot of guys like freaking in their like late 20s and they don't even get those. And so, oh yeah, by the way, I'll mention more about how to increase your androgen receptor sensitivity and health, so that you can have a bigger chest, and you can have like chest as in like you freaking see like you have like almost breasts, but like actual freaking like muscle mass. But anyways, I'll get to that. But let's first talk about the biceps. The biceps can be hit pretty good in any way. But if you hit the same way for an extended period of time, you're going to see less gains, because ultimately you need to kind of like trick the muscle. And while that probably has like a extensive scientific background, evidence, and a more scientific name, I completely recommend to you, dude, literally trick the muscle. Think of it as if your muscle was trying to like anticipate your next movement, so it didn't need to grow as much. The thing is, the growth is found in the pain, in the pain of discomfort. And if you're doing the same movement all the time, then you are going to actually be comfortable and you're not going to get the growth. That's for every single aspect in your life. And so for your biceps, I'm going to give you, four ways that are actually incredible. The regular dumbbell curls, just like this. Those are good. By the way, there was a study that if you do cheat, you can actually make the same amount of gains than if you were just strict. You'll just be able to do more weight and maybe have higher propensity to get like injured. But if you like to swing, you never get injured. I'm just saying you can do that. You'll still make gains. The other thing is incline curls. If you get to a 45-degree incline and you actually do the curls, you actually will feel like a crazy stimulus. Your bicep is going to feel like it's going to explode. And just make sure you keep your elbows there and you're not kind of like bringing your elbows up, because that kind of will make it easier. So there's the other thing. Then you can also go to cable curls. You can get the machine where it just basically you can grab both with your arms like that. But what I noticed was really, really good and made my arms freaking feel like they were like getting freaking cut, with the amount of pain that it held. And by the way, building muscle is painful, so you should actually be like grinding your teeth almost between like in your sets. So Bayesian curls, basically you go to one of those machines that have like both cables on each side, kind of where people do chest flies. You set it down kind of close to the ground, and then you kind of step a little bit forward, and then you just keep your elbows kind of in the same place, and then you just go like this. the nice thing is that when you're about to fail, you can kind of like bend a little bit. And kind of failure, if you use it in the right way, if you kind of cheat in the right way at the very end of your rep, you can actually get more stimulus. And so that's just what I recommend. So those are the best ways to hit your bicep. Just remember to trick the muscle and you will be able to be good. You'll be solid. So testosterone. Testosterone is best optimized through nutrition. Now, I have a full testosterone guide. I have a full testosterone actual course that, again, you can check out in the description, and just will optimize you get to a 315 bench, give you all the programs that I personally use and all of the recommendations on how to use those programs. But what I'll tell you for now, best high testosterone foods that are actually good for your blood sugar, can be good even when you're cutting, can be good when you are bulking. I'm telling you, just eat these foods. They will increase your testosterone because they have incredible micronutrients, and I'll keep it very simple and I'll give you 3. Sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are incredible. They have so much vitamin A. They have carotenoids that are great for your skin health actually, and also good for antioxidant properties that will actually decrease your inflammation and make it so that your testosterone is much better, because inflammation is usually bad for testosterone. Then you will also have eggs. Eggs, you already know, I have like 8 eggs a day, like literally 6 to 10 eggs every single day. And some days I don't really want it, but on the days that I don't want it, I just have more things like red meat, literally just meat with good amounts of saturated fats. The reason why is because saturated fat is the building block of testosterone. Now, if you're making sure that your saturated fat is being used for testosterone and not for cortisol, by having like you can do that by having like a more simple life, having better mental health. You can do that from meditation, from like gratitude journaling. You can do all these things like I'm grateful for, because you know, all of those things that just are better for your mental health. Getting nature, literally spending time in nature, you get more sunlight, more vitamin D, and your testosterone increases. Now there's so many things you can do for testosterone. Again, check the link in the description. But I'll tell you for now, high testosterone lifestyle will help you out with your actual gains so much, because there's so much you can do for your testosterone that will give you mental clarity, that will allow you to actually carry yourself much better in social situations, that will actually get you the respect from other people. And so this is so important, because if you do not optimize your testosterone naturally, you never have the health and vitality that a high testosterone man has. You will never be able to speak like a high testosterone man can. You will never be able to actually pursue your goals in the same way, the same kind of vigor, the vitality that is given to you by the testosterone. And that's why testosterone exists. Testosterone exists for competition, and any form of competition, having an aesthetic physique, an incredible physique, any form of competition, even like talking to the girl, getting respect, or even progressing in your job, getting better grades. All of those things will be influenced by your testosterone levels, because your testosterone levels will make you more competitive, and your competitive drive will influence your testosterone levels to get higher, and it's just a great positive feedback loop. So, next thing I'll tell you, for the aesthetic physique, cardio is extremely important. This is because cardio burns more calories, and if you want to actually have abs, you need to be in a calorie deficit for a little bit to lose the fat. Now, I would recommend, and I'll make another video about this because a lot of people need help with this, bulk. If you're a young man, if you're not even 200 pounds yet, you need to bulk. You need to bulk. Just eat a bunch, no dirty bulking, because, oh no, I put on more mass. You literally put on more fat and less muscle because your hormones are shot, so you're not building as much fat. When you have a higher body fat percentage greater than 20%, your muscle building capacity goes a little bit lower, because your testosterone is most high, best highest, when you are at 10 to 15% body fat. Now you can take the hit with a little bit of slight fat gains if you are clean bulking, eating things like sweet potato, eggs, meat, you're eating salads, you're eating freaking rice. Things for bulking are great. Now, if you were trying to get aesthetic, if you were at the 200 pound mark, like I am, highest I ever was like 220 pounds, something like that. Then, cardio. You need to do cardio. Now, I understand it might feel like a little bit like torture. The thing is, you can get a bunch of more, I guess, calories lost through many ways. If you don't want to actually go the very disciplined route, you can actually just lose the same amount of calories if you just go on a walk. Like literally 10k steps, depending on your body weight. If you're like heavy guy, like 200 pounds, can get you like, I don't know, 300 to 500 calories, something like that. But if you go to the gym and you like put on headphones and maybe you like, I don't know, you're on your phone or something, if you want to be really freaking cool, you can read a like freaking book. You can download some kind of app that has a bunch of books like the Kindle app, and you can just read it while listening to like, I don't know, cool music, and you can just walk on an incline, and then you'll burn to like 700 calories in like an hour. You can do that, and a lot of guys do that. But then you can also do things like martial arts, Muay Thai. You can do sprinting, which is also anabolic for growth hormone and testosterone. But I'll just tell you, just walk more at least. You know what kind of cardio you can do. If you don't know what kind of cardio you can do, just go on longer walks. Take up a new skill like freaking skateboarding. Do those things, because the more you move, the more calories you expend. And if you're eating healthy, you're going to look so aesthetic and actually see the beauty and strength of what your body is capable of in your aesthetic capability. So I truly recommend it, because it's also good for your heart long term. And so Muay Thai, skating, running, sprinting, swimming, walking, those are 6. Great. Enjoy. Now, I created this kind of like high testosterone lifestyle routine, and I had humility when I was kind of like, you know, when I was lacking, kind of like I would look in the mirror, I would still like love the way my body looked, and I was thinking like, okay, no, I need to work on my tricep a little bit more, or I need to work on my rear delt a little bit more, and that is where you get all of the progress. So I want to urge you, have humility with your physique. Look around, look at it, and like with an excitement, with like progress, was like, oh my god, I'm doing so freaking good there. And you know what? My body would look even better if I worked on my shoulder a little bit more, and literally just do more sets throughout the week with that. And then you would be able to get a bigger shoulder. You understand this? So like on different days, you can just do more sets for the specific group that you're trying to target. So I totally recommend that, because this doesn't need to be a negative thing. This can be a very positive thing. And while I always say use what you have, if you have pain, then use the pain for progress. If you have happiness, then use that for progress. But why not just have both? You know? Be kind of the little mouse that's running towards the cheese, but also running away from the cat. And you can just use what works for you. Okay, so now you might be thinking, no, but I don't actually want to be a big guy. I don't actually want to bulk and be freaking really strong. Maybe I don't even want to bench 315. Fine. To each his own. Of course, to each his own. Now, I want to give you a little scenario just for you to really kind of wrap your head around this. Kind of like a bunch of reasons put in one, in like a little story. I want you to imagine you're walking with your wife. You know, she's beautiful, she's smiling, she's sweet. And then randomly, some guy starts harassing her. Like saying like, oh, like, give me your number. She's like saying, oh, no, please go away. And like, she's looking at you for help because like, you know, she doesn't want to have to deal with this guy. She wants you to deal with him because she wants to feel safe with you. Now imagine if you were a 160 pound, 100% completely fully lean guy. Yeah, sure, you like looked pretty good, but you were like 150, 145 pounds. I don't know, something like that. Like a lot of guys are in their fitness journey right now. Like a lot of guys settle for in their fitness journey. Would you feel confident in your ability to actually like fight this guy? And you might say like, wait, martial arts, it doesn't matter how much muscle you have, it matters that you pack a punch. Well, shit. Imagine if you were skinny. Imagine if the other guy is like 200 pounds, he knows like how to fight too, whatever. Wouldn't you say that in this hypothetical scenario, you would have a better chance of actually protecting someone if you weighed more, if you had more muscle mass? Wouldn't your wife feel more safe while she was with you if you had more muscle mass? Wouldn't you even rather, even if this guy there was no fight? Imagine there was like nobody harassing. It's like not even just all about looks. Imagine just running with your wife in a freaking field and like picking her up and spinning her and then like just having her on your back and like running and not even getting tired because you have good heart health, you have good strength. Just imagine this. Because you could have this life, or you could have the kind of life where you pick up your wife like super hard, you can barely pick her up, and like now you're super tired, you can only run like for like 10 seconds, and then now you have to put her down because you freaking fall and she gets hurt. Now think about that. And so this is why I tell you, imagine how much you can inspire your son. Literally, imagine how much you can inspire your son and your daughter to both get on their shit and actually work on their body and make sure that their life expectancy literally goes higher because they are healthier. Because it's not all just about looks. You will look better because you are healthier. That is why you look good, because it is the aesthetics are kind of like the show. The kind of aesthetics are the symptom of good health, of good development. And so that's why this is important, because it's not just about looks, it's about performance. And if you are being healthy, you will have long-term better looks and you will have long-term better performance. And so this is why this is so important. So, performance and looks. Now we're going to talk about the performance aspect, and that really comes with optimizing your testosterone affinity, meaning your androgen receptors. Again, most concentrated in your upper body. So, around the time I had first started exercising, my dad, he took me weightlifting, and he was showing me how to bench press for the first time. And so I'm under the bar, and I grab it. He says, okay, just pick it up, just do your thing. So I go, my arms are like shaking, and then I'm pushing it up. Great, I did it. I did a rep. I'll do another couple if I can. I do about 2 or 3 reps, and then I rack the bar. I look at my dad. I'm thinking he's gonna say great job. He says, cool, ready to add weight? Ready to add a weight? Dude, I could barely do the bar. And that's kind of like that story I said earlier in this video. So it's important for you to understand that the bar is so obviously achievable to do. Like everybody can do the bar. Everybody can do the bar. If you're like 14 years old, you're like 13 years old, then you probably might struggle with doing the bar. It's just like a 45-pound bar. And that's okay, because your testosterone is going to upregulate around this time and you're going to get bigger gains anyways. But if you're training, you're going to get even more gains. So, every man should be able to bench 225 any day of the week. And I'm serious. Every single man should be able to bench 225 any day of the week. And when I say that, you might be thinking 225? No, only 10% of lifters can actually do that. Okay. Do you want to be like the 90%? Not everybody wants to be like 10%. Not everybody wants to be 1%. That's fine. But I don't know. If I was like 1%, if I was the best of the best, I'm sure my wife would appreciate that more. I'm sure my wife would think I was cooler. That's all I'm saying. And so what I want to tell you is 225 is like a beginner strength milestone, like in the actual strength world. So if you're struggling to get past it, I want you to understand a couple things. And it's that building muscle is painful. And building strength is usually a little bit easier, but with more strength, you're able to carry more weight and have more stimulus for your muscle. And so in that case, we want to actually recruit more muscle fibers so that we can use more of our muscle fibers to get more stimulus for our muscles and build more mass that way. So we can have seasons where we're focusing on strength, we're doing low reps so that we can recruit more muscle fibers, and then we can actually switch into seasons where we're doing high reps or something like that. I personally do a split where it's both of them at once, and so I get the best gains like that, especially when I'm bulking. Now, what this is called is neuromuscular adaptation. Now, this is a staple of my program that I sell, that I give my clients. Neuromuscular adaptation is basically your brain recruiting more muscle fibers so you are more strong. That is what strength is. Strength is not your muscle mass. Strength is how many muscle fibers you can recruit and how much power output you can do for your actual muscle, pretty much. And so, how do you actually gain the strength? How do you actually gain the mass? Well, you need to gain weight. Muscle, I'm telling you, clean bulk, we already talked about that. Get to around 200 pounds, then you can consider cutting pretty much. I went to 220 and then that's when I started cutting. And I was at 4 or 5 squat, 325 bench. And so what you need is a proper scientific training progression. You can lift heavy for compound lifts and then focus on pain felt plus volume for your accessory work. So I always start with a compound lift for my workouts, and then I switch to my next sets after I do my compound lift with focus on feeling the pain of the muscles, because building muscle is actually painful. And then I'll focus on just breaking down my body so I can actually build it up better, because it'll heal better. And so here's just I have a full program in the description that helps personally me get my bench 25 pounds higher in the first month, and helped my other clients, my friends, get to a 225 bench press for the first time and 250 plus bench press. And so here's just a recommendation if you don't want to join my program in the description. That will also help you. You can do a 5x5, as in 5 sets, 5 reps for bench press. And then you can do 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps on all of your other movements. Like I'm talking like bicep curls, I'm talking like, I don't know, tricep push downs, just all of those accessory movements. Even like incline barbell if you wanted to. And so, again, I recommend joining my community in the description. Free subscription is actually coming soon, and so you can look out for that. Like probably like tomorrow or next week, I'm telling you, I'm gonna have like a free tier, basically a couple tiers when it comes to my program, and I won't talk too much about that. But if you're interested, then I don't know, I recommend joining, because then you'd have my entire system that's helped other guys get to like literally a 300-pound bench press was the best that one of my friends had got to using similar programs that I am using. And so I'm at 325 bench press. And so, yeah. So anyways, I'm also going to recommend one last thing for this section that will also help you with your androgen receptor health and recruitment of muscle fibers. And that is creatine. Creatine is the most researched supplement in the world. The most researched fitness supplement in the world. Not only does it make you technically a little bit smarter if you lack creatine, it's basically just like a nutritional supplement. And thanks, man. Not only does it make you smarter, it also helps you recruit more muscle fibers, because it helps increase what's called your dihydrotestosterone. And dihydrotestosterone can also make you just recruit more muscle fibers for better neuromuscular adaptation. So I recommend that. You'll also notice with creatine, your muscles will be fuller because they'll be more filled with water. You'll look bigger, and no, you don't have more water retention in your like fat tissue or in like other accessory tissues, mostly just in your muscles. So you shouldn't worry about like facial bloating or something like that. If you're being bloated, it's because of other things, other factors in your diet. And so just focus on, and it's super inexpensive. I recommend the Allmax pharmaceutical grade creatine. It's kind of like black and blue, and it's like red letters and like a silver lid. So basically 20 grams every day for 7 days, and then 2 to 3 grams every single day for the rest of your life. Or if you weigh 200 pounds, then have 5 grams every single day for the rest of your life after that loading phase. And so once I actually optimized my testosterone, once I started training effectively for strength and size, making sure I had my compound lifts first designated for strength, and then I had my accessory work designated for my actual size and actual like freaking pain, so that the muscles would grow more. Once I did that, I started progressing faster than all of my friends. I was literally doing like 15 to 20 pounds per month added to my bench press, and literally I think I did like 30 pounds higher to my squat that next month too. I was increasing the weight so much. I was making the best gains of my life. I took like about 5 months off of Muay Thai, and when I came back, everybody was like, holy shit, you like filled your frame, you like got so much bigger, what the heck, you look great. So people have been telling me that like every single time I've gone to Muay Thai. And so what I'm telling you is, this is the method. Optimize your testosterone, your androgen receptors for performance and actually faster gains, and then make sure you do the cardio so you have good heart health and you can freaking like last longer in bed, like pause with your wife. But anyways, and then also so that you have like the aesthetic V-taper so you look like a freaking statue, because that is the new meta. The super soldier body, the super soldier physique is the new method. And I'm telling you, that's why I have the super soldier method in the description below. And I'm telling you, once you have the V-taper, the aesthetics, I'll just give like a quick recap actually in this case. The new meta for aesthetics is literally the aesthetic bodied performance machine, the super soldier physique. Think Batman type shit, and fast and strong and aesthetic. This requires scientific training, but not like, oh no, I'm training like for my hyperstimulus, and I am going to put my shoulder like this, and like whatever, scientific stuff. There's like a lot of memes about that. Not like optimizing testosterone and training for strength and size, because that is what true performance is. That is what the super soldier physique is. And that means also making sure that your V-taper, your aesthetic muscles, your neck, your chest, your shoulders, your biceps, making sure you have healthy androgen receptors and testosterone levels, and then training heavy for compound lifts, but then also training for kind of like pain output in your accessory work, in all of your isolatory movements. So this is like a lot of information, and like just watch my videos, bro. I hope that you got actually a lot of value. I spent a lot of time scripting this video, making sure I had all my bullet points helpful for you. And so yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I should be back to like editing style, and just yeah, check the links in the description and you'll be all set up. Like, you just watch this video. I hope you like this video. If you want more videos, if you want to see more content from me, small, unconventional, high testosterone YouTuber as myself is, then just subscribe. And once you trust me enough, bro, just check out my programs. They're so freaking good, bro. They're literally like so designed so that you get your protein in every single day. You actually make progress, and you actually know that what you're doing is actually making progress because it's worked for other people, worked for like 10 or 20 guys already. So I really want you to understand this. So when you trust me enough, just check the link in the description below, and I'm sure there's some way you can hop on a call with me. So yeah, peace, bro.